How's it going, everybody? Just to get this started off right, okay, it's blood spatter, okay? It's not blood splatter. There's no L in there, okay? Whenever people say splatter, I wince. The same way Kyra does when you say panel or all the little acronyms for every single word, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, well, we already went over it yesterday. Yeah, it's amazing. See, this is when you know people are lunatics, right? See, law enforcement believes that Gannon made it home in the truck, but it's people who always thought he didn't make it home. They can't accept it, so they'll keep putting out videos trying to convince people of their theory. Well, but your theory at this point isn't very valid because law enforcement believes that. It's not like they came up with, you know, they never even came forward with a theory before. As a matter of, law enforcement never said, "Oh, we believe he made it home," or or didn't make it home. We don't believe he didn't make it home. That was just people in the media and the neighbor that was played over and over again. Well, he doesn't have any video analysis ability. He saw the video, he saw the car pull back into the house, and then nobody got out of the same car that Gannon entered into. So it's like, oh, he must not have made it home. Well, if you look really carefully, I wish I had the original video. That's the thing. Because when on the playback that was recorded, it skips a few seconds here and there. And I showed you guys that on that video a long time ago. Anyways, how's it going, everybody? I just want to let you guys know that the next like 6 days, maybe even 10, it's going to be pretty shitty with the virus numbers and everything. You know, don't let it get you too down or anything. It's the way it is. And that's a freaking nightmare, but it is what it is, right? I saw a video today of this nurse. She was a black lady. She was a nurse. And man, it was just... Man, she was just so devastated. You know, she kept watching, you know, just seeing different people die over and over again, and she kind of showed how they die, and it wasn't great. What does meh mean? I don't get it. Yeah, I don't. What state is that, Casey? Probably Florida or Texas, right? Ah, she's good. She always comes home, takes her scrubs off, puts it outside, and then, you know, in a little basket. I mean, she's not like right in the line of fire with all the, you know, the COVID patients, but, you know, she's there at the hospital. That's the thing. I mean, you still need nurses for other, you know, she's a CNA too. Oh, like shrugging? I don't know about that, Miss Skiss. It's a pretty big deal. Oh, you said you asked how you were doing? Okay. She was saying that to how she was doing, not the other stuff. I guess I should have waited for everybody to answer. Yeah. Florida waited way too long for anything. Yeah, that guy's a joke. You know, I don't give a shit. You know, in terms of people waiting, that guy, what a joke. God. Yeah, this evening, huh? Florida right now. Yeah, beach-filled fun. Good times up there. Idiots. All right. Well, I'm gonna go over this. See, it was weird. I was looking up cold cases, and I was looking at this one. On one website, this one lady's listed as a cold case, but it doesn't seem like it's. I mean, it seems like it was solved because it turns out it was a serial killer. And then when I found the name of the serial killer, and then all these other stories that I looked at around the same time, his name popped up. One thing that was interesting was that there was 2 serial killers in the same area at the same time. Like they even put there was like overlap of where the bodies were. You know, you sort of wonder if they were communicating or something. But there was a guy named Bernard Eugene Giles, and then wait, is that his real name? Hold on, let me check something. Bernard Giles. I don't think his middle name is Eugene. I think I put that on the wrong. I don't think, anyways. Okay. Yeah, the other guy's name, it's Gerald Eugene Stano. Okay. Not, it's just Bernard Giles. At least that's what I think that's an error. I was thinking, wow, is there both of them have the middle name of Eugene? That'd be crazy. Not that Eugene's incredibly uncommon, but Oogla boogla. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over all the victims using newspapers.com to find the original articles and, you know, what people were doing, and just it's interesting. You know, the sort of the victimology part of it. You noticed what? Oh, that's you said hi to somebody? Man, you guys are paranoid. Okay. All right, I'm going to switch screens now. Got a lot of stuff on the screen now. And that's with more than 90% of it turned off. What I should have done was just put the name Gannon in the title, and then maybe people would have shown up. So you notice how there's only 143, but if you put Gannon in there, or Letitia, there's 300 and something. Sad. Yeah, I've got the Girl Code mug too. Okay. So I'm going to start off with Anne Hey, thanks, Miss Skiz. Never met, Dave. Meh.
Never a mere stay with Gray. I'm glad to make it to tonight's live face blowing a kiss sleep monster almost got my ass soga.
Yeah. Never a meh. Yeah. Okay. So this is the first two cases they were together. So I just really looked up one because they're both found at the same time. It gives a little bit of information about both. I could look that up too. But so this is from 1973, March 22nd. 2 women found dead in the woods. 2 women believed in their late teens were found stabbed to death Wednesday in a wooded area near an abandoned lumber camp in northeast Gainesville. I wasn't able to find that. I think it's all gone by now. Police Captain Charles Snowden said the girls, who carried no identification, were apparently stabbed once in the chest. He said the bodies were fully clothed. They did not appear to be sexually assaulted, said Snowden. He said the bodies were being examined by a pathologist to determine positively whether a sexual attack had occurred. Snowden said one of the bodies was found by a city work crew about 9 a.m. And Blue and Chloe are playing again because that's what they do whenever I do my show. Work crew about 9 a.m. lying on a dirt road near State Road 24. Yeah, so it was kind of, I don't know, it was hard to find the exact location, but, you know, here's State Road 24, and, you know, there was a church here. You know, it was just, there's no direct landmarks anymore, because there was an abandoned church back then. But, so anyways, just picture something around in this area. And generally what it looks like, I could go down to a wooded area. It was a lot more wooded, or less populated back then. So let's do the back in time deal. 1994, big chunks of woods. And if you go there now, well, I guess it still kind of looks like that. Not much different. Huh. Yeah, almost the same. But I'm sure if there was an abandoned church, they probably got rid of it. It was an abandoned lumber mill too. So could be around there somewhere, but I just didn't find it. Snowden said one of the bodies was found in a city by a city work crew about 9 a.m. lying on a dirt road near State Road 24. He said police found a second body in a patch of weeds about 10 yards away. The bodies were found about 50 feet from an abandoned church. What are you guys doing? Man, Chloe's just a hellion. You know, when my wife called, when she was going to come home, I was in the bathroom and I ran to get the phone. And in that little bit of time, she ran in there and peed on the carpet. You know, this little tiny, you know, it's like, God, what in the hell? I just let you outside. Yeah. All right. Snowden said one of the girls was wearing blue jeans and the other was wearing slacks. It appears they've been out there the last 12 to 16 hours, he added. Snowden said it appeared the girls were killed at the scene where the bodies were found. The area was quickly roped off. About 15 policemen and state's attorney investigators were searching the underbrush for clues to the slaying. Blue looks pissed off. Okay. The parents of 2 murdered 17-year-old drifters will claim their daughters' bodies this weekend. The girls were found stabbed to death Wednesday. Police Superintendent Courtney Roberts contacted the disappearance and confirmed the identities of Ann Arsenault of Silver Springs, Maryland, and Janine Ligatino from Clintondale, New York. Roberts said Friday the girls had drifted around Gainesville, keeping their few belongings in a shack in a location he would not disclose. It's not the type of place where you would mail a letter. They really had no permanent address. Known on the streets of the student ghettos as Annie Oakley, came to Gainesville 2 weeks ago. So Annie, let's see, Ann Arsenault was known as Annie Oakley. She came to Gainesville 2 weeks ago. Miss Ligatino had been known in the area since October. She worked at several restaurants as a waitress briefly, and then one girl on Northwest 10th Street who identified a picture of the dead girl said she was sweet and no one would hassle her. This has everyone uptight. William Wyckoff, who employed Miss Ligatino for 2 days before Christmas, selling flowers on a street corner, said the girl would come in to see friends. I saw her and another girlfriend several weeks ago with boyfriends, but she dropped out of sight. Another girl volunteered. The girl had returned from the Mardi Gras in New Orleans last weekend. Roberts said officers were tracing the girl's activities night before the killings. Roberts said officers were tracing the girl's activities night before the killings. They visited with various people and locations. So far, there are no motives in the case. The autopsy showed signs of violent struggle in the wooded area around the abandoned lumberyard in northeast Gainesville, where both fully clothed victims were discovered by a city employee Wednesday. See, it sounds like a lot of the other ones that we bring up. What do you mean, what month? What are you guys talking about? It's April. Yeah. Okay, so this is still more on them. So this is on April 2nd. Those first ones were March 22nd and March 24th. This one here is from... Oh, I downloaded April 2nd. Sorry. Those last two were March 22nd, March 24th. This one's March 24th also. Police have tentatively identified the two teenagers found murdered Wednesday morning in the vacant lot in the outskirts of the city. According to police, the girls are Ann Arsenault, 17, of Silver Springs, Maryland, and Janine Ligatino, 17, of Clintondale, New York. Gainesville Police Bureau of Operations Superintendent Courtney Roberts said police are investigating leads in the case, but announced no motive for the killings. Roberts said the girls were not raped and that one of them wore jewelry when found. He added no drugs were found in the bodies. Definitely there was some violence involved, Roberts said, pointing in addition to the multiple knife wounds. So they weren't each stabbed once, they were stabbed many times. There were also bruises on the body. The girls were what you may call street people and had no apparent address. So they were homeless, but they were there intentionally. They traveled there. They were in town for some time, one of them at least since October, and the other for at least 2 weeks, he said. Then on March 25th, 17-year-old Janine Ligatino's body has been shipped home to Clintondale for burial. Two girls of the same age were found Wednesday lying dead along a dirt road near State Road 24 in Gainesville. The other was identified Friday as Ann Arsenault of Silver Springs, Maryland. Police said the girls had no permanent address. One of the bodies was found lying on the dirt road by city work crewmen. The other was found nearby in a patch of weeds. Miss Ligatino had been in the Gainesville area since December, according to police. After leaving home, she was the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Frank Ligatino. Police said Miss Arsenault had sold flowers for a street vendor for a while, but that otherwise neither girl had an employment record in the area. Gainesville police said there were no signs of sexual abuse, but bruises on the bodies indicate there had been a struggle. So, so a lot of the same repetitive stuff. And then on March 30th, let's see. They thought it might have been somebody else, another killer. Gainesville police ruled a Washington, D.C. man who admitted the still unsolved double knife murders in the University City last week. Detective Captain Charles Snowden said a College Park, Maryland man told police there he murdered the 2 street girls in Florida. A check by police, though, showed he was in Washington, D.C. area. The night of March 20th, the 2 17-year-old girls were knifed brutally several times and left in a field at an abandoned lumberyard in northeast Gainesville. He apparently is a mental patient. Yeah, so at least back then, the police had a little bit more morals sometimes, right? I think they always have morals, but what I'm saying is, like, you've got cases like Brandon Dassey, things like that, where, they it seems like they took advantage of it. I guess it doesn't matter. Any time you might be able to get somebody that's like that, a situation where the police want to make an arrest, so they pin it on the wrong guy. See, they could have easily done it, right? The guy confessed to it. They could have built a case and made it work. You see? Because he confessed to it, and that's all a jury would need to hear. Oh, really? Wow. Ann Arsenault, Silver Springs, Maryland, one of the 2 victims, lived in the area near the man who admitted the crimes while a student. Okay, let's see. Both girls dropouts into Gainesville after Mardi Gras. Miss Ligatino had been in the city since October. Off and on, police said neither girl had been raped, nor were drugs found in their bloodstream. So there you go. That's that. So these are just, there's no leads or anything on these. And then, so this is something 9 years later, okay? This is related to that case. It says, Stano indicted of stabbing deaths of 2 teenagers. So this is the serial killer. Okay, but this is just an article that came out 9 years later. So he'd already been arrested, right? So it says, admitted mass murderer Gerald Stano was indicted Wednesday for the stabbing deaths of 2 teenagers, or 2 teenage girls whose bodies were found in a wooded area in March of 1973. Police said they suspect a former short-order cook with 40 killings between 1969 and 1980. Stano, 31, has confessed to killing 34 women and has law enforcement officers tracking clues across Florida and into parts of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. The indictment Wednesday were for the deaths of Ann Arsenault, 17, of Silver Springs, and Janine Ligatino, 19. All right, so that was 9 years later. He admitted to doing that. All right, so now we'll go on to some other person, another victim out there. It's crazy. It's just amazing that there's these freaking monsters out there. And there was 2 of them in the same area at the same time. The other one just got caught quicker. So this is Barbara Bauer. So here's her story. The case of missing New Smyrna Beach High School has generated a widespread search among students and parents in both Volusia and Flagler. Barbara Bauer, 17, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Albert Bauer of 214 Flagler Avenue. Let's see where that is. So this is where she lives, but it didn't look like that back then. Watch. So there was probably a house in there, and that was 1975. So even 22 years before, it might have even looked different. So whatever this is here, that wasn't there. So she lived right in that area. So she disappeared last Wednesday. So this is just when she's missing. It was a big story. While on a shopping trip to Daytona Beach, she was driving her brother's blue Plymouth Duster. She never returned. Parents, friends, teachers, and everyone who knew the girl said Saturday she wasn't the type to run away and that she was happy. Let's see. Saturday morning, a student pilot from Embry-Riddle College, who had been out flying and hadn't realized that a search was underway, returned and noticed an article on the flight bulletin board advising of the missing blue car. The pilot then remembered having seen a blue object roughly west, that's weird, west of I-95 and east of SR-17 in a heavily wooded area. Conflicting reports throughout the day placed the location either in an area west or of Ormond, Daytona Beach, or in the area of Bunnell and Flagler County. Okay. So, you know, she's missing, and then she's still missing. That was on, that was actually on September 9th, 1973. And the sheriffs are looking for the car of this victim, Barbara Bauer. She's right there. An air search in North Volusia County Saturday proved fruitless, so that probably didn't pan out. A popular student at New Smyrna Beach Senior High School, who earlier this year sent her copper POW bracelet bearing the name of Major Glendon Perkins to the Orlandian on the release from a Vietnamese prison. So she had just sent a bracelet in for her POW, let's see, I don't know who that was for, but, Major Glendon Perkins. The trail just vanishes there, just like the Clifton case, said Volusia. He was referring to the case of Mabel and Austin Clifton, the DeLand couple who vanished March 2nd. Oh, man. You guys should just see how she, like, prances around, just trying to tease Blue. See, Barbara left her home at 3:30 p.m. Thursday to pick up her school's order of fabric for cheerleader uniforms. She had got the material at 4:30 p.m. and has not been seen since. The girl, wearing shorts and a t-shirt, was driving the family's 1973 light blue Plymouth Duster Coupe. Florida license plate 834300. Yeah, so I think I have that place. Let's see. Yeah, I think she was at this shopping center right there, I believe. And there was like a fabric store around in this area. And apparently she went there to get some fabric for cheerleading. And she just disappeared. Okay, then now we're up to September 18th. So they kept searching for her. They searched in a different location. No, didn't find her. Then on September 23rd, we get this article. Where is Barbara? They're still looking for her. But maybe this one has more detail. Let's see. Dr. and Mrs. Albert Bauer, who for 17 days and nights have stayed close to the telephone in their Flagler Avenue beachside home, waiting for news of their only daughter. Wow, what a nightmare. A third grade teacher, that's her mom, recalls the day Barb disappeared. It was Thursday, September 6th. She picked me up from Reed Patio School. She was happy and excited about her forthcoming senior year at school. It was 3:35 p.m. when she left home to go to the Hancock Fabric Store in Holy Hill Plaza to buy material for the school's Flaget drill team. I remember because she set her watch in the kitchen and said she would have to be back by 5:30 for dinner. When the 17-year-old honor student failed to arrive home by 6:30, Mrs. Bauer called the New Smyrna Beach and Daytona Beach Police Department. That's pretty quick. And the Highway Patrol. A sales clerk at the fabric store remembers Barbara, a pleasant girl who wanted to get home to start work on the uniforms. But Barbara never arrived home. Several witnesses told police a girl matching Barbara's description was seen between 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. standing beside a blue automobile talking to three youths on the southbound lane of US 1 near Rose Bay Bridge north of here. Did the youth stop to change a tire, or, as one report to the police suggests, did three hippie-type youths in a brown van force the girl to leave with them? Police cautiously admit, yes, it is possible she was abducted, but every lead we have pursued in this direction has failed to produce anything concrete. Yeah, this sounds a lot like there's another one we talked about a while ago that was similar. Are you guys still paying attention? I mean, the chat is all over the place. It's talking about rescue dogs, talking about just... how about this? I'll just be the background sound, and you guys just do whatever the hell you want. Alright? It's probably a better way to do it. It's sort of like, you know, when you go to a bar and there's a band playing, you're not really listening to the band, it's just you're there to talk. Yeah, so this is, yeah, I don't think it's the... It could have been like hippie guys pulled over and said, "Hey, you want some help?" And she was like, "Nah," but then some other guy came by. Well, I mean, I don't mean like every second you got to be listening. I'm just saying it's... I wish there was any comments at all that were related. You know, then it keeps me excited. Let's see. It would have... let's see. Yeah, it would have taken more than one person. She's a scrapper. We all feel she's alive, her brother keeps saying. Keep calm, Mum. She's coming home. Barbara's close friend, Kathy, Karditsa, Susan Sykes, and Linda Fugate discount talk she is a runaway. There is nothing we would like better than to think Barb just got tired of her routine and she decided to get away for a while. But there are just too many reasons. Yeah, I mean, she went to get, you know, material to make dresses for their cheerleading team. No way. Okay. So now there's more information. Barbara Bauer, the 17-year-old high school senior, missing since September 6th, has not been found, but police have uncovered one link in the almost clueless disappearance. That involves statements from two persons in Valdosta, Georgia, that a middle-aged man was seen getting out of Barbara's 1973 powder blue Duster in a motel parking lot. These two individuals allege the vehicle was parked in the parking lot of the Azalea Motel at approximately 8:15 a.m. September 7th. And at that time, the vehicle was occupied by a white male, described to be approximately 40 years old, and about 6 feet tall and weighing 165 to 185. Detective Chuck Nelson, a local police department officer, said Detective Nelson and Don Goodson, as well as Sheriff Deputies Art Deese, have been in Valdosta since the Bauer vehicle was positively identified Sunday. So the vehicle was found. The blue vehicle. Bueller? As in Ferris Bueller? Yeah.
Bueller, winking face rolling on the floor laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. You guys can all tell your story. I just want every once in a while to have one of the comments be related to what I'm talking about. Because then it'll keep me thinking that at least somebody's out there. But I couldn't find one. So I don't really care if you guys are, talking about the shit that's going on. It's bad times. But every once in a while, just pretend and type something in like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Something like that. And please don't type in, oh, wow, that's crazy, because then I'll know that you're just doing, the exact phrasing that I was thinking of making another emoji that just says Jim. Yeah, they found the Blue Duster, yeah. The man seen getting out of the Blue Duster was further described as wearing a plaid shirt and plaid slacks. Witness state the subject was entirely alone and just walked away from the car as though he were a guest at a motel. He was never observed in the area again, he added. Barbara disappeared Thursday, September 6th, and this article is October 3rd. The Blue Duster she was driving, Nelson said, Tuesday, was seen in the Azalea City Motel parking lot. I wonder if that's still there. Let's see. I doubt it. But let's see. Azalea City Motel. Let's see. Is that going to even go anywhere? Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, it's over here. Apparently, but somewhere. Yeah, so somewhere in this area. There's too many of them. So it's kind of around on the panhandle. I think it's in Georgia, right? Or Alabama, excuse me. Georgia's. Yeah. It's in Alabama right there. It's nuts. An alert was dispatched from the New Smyrna Beach Police Department through the FCIC on Friday, September 7th, listing Barbara as a missing person. The Blue Duster apparently remained at the same location at the motel parking lot, causing Valdosta police to again run another NCIC and FCIC check on September 30th. This time, the answer came back that the car belonged to a missing person, Barbara Bauer, from Volusia County. The car was then hauled to the Valdosta police station and local authorities notified. The car had been left in the motel parking lot with the keys in it, about a quarter of a tank of gas, authorities reported. That's weird. That guy, he drove a long ways in that thing. Hundreds of miles. Okay, so now that was on October 3rd. And then there's another article to October 6th. Leads fail police in Barbara Bauer case. Two anticipated leads on the whereabouts of missing 17-year-old Barbara Bauer have failed to materialize, leaving investigators with no relative clues as of Friday. I mean, it's like cold already. Neither of the two girls... Hey, Blue, Chloe! Neither of the two girls... let's see. Neither of the two girls two detectives, went to Valdosta, Georgia, to check out with Barbara. Check out was Barbara. That's the worst written paragraph I've ever seen in my life. Let's see. Barbara disappeared on that Thursday afternoon after she went to Daytona Beach to purchase material to make a uniform for the high school flag team of which she was a member. She did purchase the material as verified by clerks in the fabric shop, but never returned home. 3 weeks after her mysterious disappearance, the car Barbara was driving, a 1973 powder blue Plymouth Duster, was found abandoned in the parking lot of Azalea City Motel in Valdosta. Alright, let's see. Complicating the situation was the fact that the car had been at the location on September 6th through the 15th, hours after Barbara disappeared. 15 hours, excuse me. 6th, then the ... 15 hours after Barbara disappeared. So that blue car, I mean, it was just 15 hours after she, didn't show up back home after buying the fabric. That blue car was way over there in that motel parking lot. Valdosta police said they made a check through the National Crime Information Center but received a reply that the car was not wanted. So it was sitting there for a long time, but the police in Florida didn't register the vehicle as a missing vehicle that they were looking for. So there was no hit for the police in Alabama. That's not good. Valdosta police ran another check on the car Sunday and discovered that it belonged to a missing person from Volusia County, Barbara Bauer. So they finally registered it and put it in the system, and then boom, there was a hit. Okay, now we're moving forward. That was on October 6th. Yeah. So this is 1973, December 14th. Miss Audrey Bauer, mother, teenage Barbara Bauer, who has been missing since September 6th, staunchly maintains her daughter is still alive. I do not feel she's dead and will not until it can be proven. Mrs. Bauer, who has continued teaching in Reed Patillo Elementary School here since her daughter's disappearance, feels if there is any possible way Barbara will get in touch with her parents, particularly during Christmas time. Let's see. We know the mileage on the car when it left, and when it was found, there had been 850 miles put on it. You can't possibly put that many miles on the car in that short of time. Yeah, I mean, in 15 hours, how do you put 850 miles? I mean, I guess if you drove in 15 hours, 80 miles an hour, well, not even that. You could do that. That's not impossible. Yeah, I mean, 10 hours at 85 miles an hour, you drive 850. So you can easily drive in 15 hours, 850 miles. I think Cairo probably pulls that off every once in a while. The Barberville fruit stand operator provided information stating a 1973 blue Duster with a nameplate Bert on the front, the same as Barbara's car, stopped at the stand at approximately 9 a.m. September 7th, which was about 2 hours after the Valdosta witnesses maintained the car was in the motel parking lot. The fruit stand operator said the car was occupied by two hippie-type men who bought bananas and left. My husband drove the car, the Duster, after it was returned to the Bauer family to Barberville, and when he pulled into the fruit stand area, The woman immediately said it was the same car. Mrs. Bauer said, I am, Mrs. Bauer added, inclined to believe that woman. Yeah, well, it makes sense. Okay, so that was December 14th. Okay, now we're moving into 1974, April. Police find girl's body in woods. Right, so after all that hope, the mom believed that she was still alive and everything. The body of a young woman found in a wooded area of Bradford County may be 17-year-old Barbara Bauer, missing from New Smyrna Beach since September 6, investigators said late Friday. Articles of clothing and jewelry have been found with the body, which are similar to description to that worn by the missing girl. The body had been taken to Alachua County for medical examination to determine positive identification and the cause of death. New Smyrna Beach Police Chief Wallace Farah stated, he stated that. Okay. The local police department was informed of a body of an unidentified female being found 8 miles south of Stark on Friday. Investigators from both the Volusia County Sheriff's Department and City Police immediately left the scene, indicating an official identification would be ready by Saturday. Barbara has been missing since September 6th, when she drove a 1970, and actually the year before, when she drove a 1973 powder blue auto to Daytona Beach to purchase material for a school flag team uniform. The popular high school student daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Albert Bauer was never seen again by family or friends. 3 weeks after the teenager disappeared, the car she had been driving, bearing a front tag with her twin brother's name, Bert, was found abandoned in the parking lot of the Azalea City Motel in Valdosta, Georgia. So I guess it was Georgia, not Alabama. A crime lab investigation revealed the vehicle had been wiped clean of fingerprints. The lack of clues in the case led police and sheriff's investigators in searches which stretched to Ohio with no results. Okay, then on the 16th, body not identified as missing Bauer girl. The case of missing 17-year-old Barbara Bauer officially remained open Monday as Bradford County investigators failed to offer a positive identification of the body of a young woman found there last week. Okay, however, I mean, it does that. It is the body. The parents just weren't able to. And it says body identified as missing girl. Bradford County Sheriff Dolph Reddish said yesterday the skeletal remains found at a county dump nearly 2 weeks ago have been identified as those of New Smyrna Beach girl. Reddish said the autopsy report had established the victim as Barbara Bauer, 17. Miss Bauer disappeared September 6, 1973, after visiting a Daytona Beach area shopping center. 2 weeks after her disappearance, Miss Bauer's car was found in Valdosta. The body was discovered April 9th by a group of children playing at the county dump just off State Road 100 near the community of Teresa. All right, let's see if I can find that one. I think Chloe was just eating sugar. Yeah. People die all over the place. That's the truth of it. Yeah. So let's see. Just off State Road 100. So that's State Road 100 right there. State Road 100 near the community of, okay, Teresa. So let me just see where that is. Okay. So which one of these is 100? So this must be 100 right here. Yeah, Highway 100. So near here somewhere. This is where she was found. We'll just pick a place, but... Alright. I think Blue has to go to the bathroom. Hold on. Yeah, he just came running over and jumped up and ran to the door. Hey, let me out, let me out. Okay, so that's where he said the cause of death appeared to be blows to the head, although the cause officially is still under investigation. Okay. So, again, this is 1980. Now we're moving to 1983. The serial killer, Gerald Eugene Stano, pleads guilty to deaths of 3 women. Gerald Stano, the former short order cook who may be the most prolific mass murderer in U.S. history, that was back then, pleaded guilty Monday to murdering. You hardly ever hear of this guy, though. You notice that? Pleaded guilty to murdering 3 women. Stano, 31, was brought from nearby Florida State Prison, where he already was serving life sentence for the murder of 3 Daytona Beach area women. All told, he has confessed to killing 34 women between 69 and 80. Stano entered the guilty pleas Monday and was given 3 more life sentences with a mandatory 50 years. His guilty pleas were made in return for the state's promise not to seek the death penalty. The victims were Janine Ligatino, which we already discussed, Ann Arsenault, 17, hitchhiker from Northeast, last seen March 21st, 1973, and Barbara Ann Bauer, 17, who disappeared from New Smyrna Beach shopping mall September 6, 1973. All right. Isn't that just crazy? You know, they're all kind of the same age, everything. It's just... All right, now we're moving on to... what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over every single one of them. At least the ones that I've seen, and then I'll try to find the rest of them. But like this next one, her name is Kathie Sharpe, okay? So this is 1974. Brever deputies comb latest body's location. Sheriff deputies searched an area on North Merritt Island Sunday, site of the discovery Saturday of the 5th decomposed female body found in North Brevard County in 2 months. Well, guess what? The other bodies found were from the other serial killer named Bernard Giles. They were right in the same exact spot at the same time. Man, you wouldn't want to be 17 and live in that area at that time, okay? Brevard Sheriff Lee S. Wilson said Sunday no report had been received from a post-mortem scheduled to begin about noon, and there was no new developments in the investigation of the mysterious death. The clothed body, you notice how they're all clothed too, there's no sexual assault, believed to be that of a young girl, was found Saturday morning by 2 men who were hunting pigs in the north area of the Kennedy Space Center reservation. Okay, so the area is about 4.5 miles north of the Haulover Canal, and about 3/4 of a mile from SR3 is heavily wooded. Okay, so I think I found this one. I think I'm talking too loud. There you go. So I think her body was found right in this area. Let's see, right there's the canal. And then it was like 4.5 miles. And then there was actually another road too. There was another article that was a little bit more specific. I'm just putting it in this area. You know, somewhere out in there. You know, basically just go like this. But it's pretty crazy looking out here. I mean, it's an easy place to just dump a body and nobody would find it for a long time. You know, just even just in there, you know. You'd never find anything in there. The clothed body, believed to be that of a young girl, was found Saturday morning by 2 men who were hunting pigs in the north area of the Kennedy Space Center. Okay, the body was discovered near an orange grove, lying partly in shallow water. Hey, thanks Tanya Logan. In a drainage ditch. Sheriff Inspectors S.R. Speedy DeWitt said if clothing does not provide a clue to the identity of the badly decomposed body, dental records will be checked. DeWitt said he felt natural cause of death was unlikely because of the isolated nature of the area. DeWitt said the clothing would normally be worn by someone in the under 30 years category, so he made his guess about the victim's age on that basis. Yeah, so the first one was January 21st, and it took him 7 months to identify her. So, the 5th Orange Grove victim identified. The 5th of the Orange Grove murder victims found in the North Brevard County was identified Monday as Kathie Lee Sharpe, 17, of 5348 Oates Avenue. I think I have that. I don't. Let me put that in there. I always like to see where they lived. Okay, 5348 Oates Avenue, Port Orange. There you go. Right there. So it was really close to... Oh, I guess I did have that. I just didn't have it. Where is that located? Hold on. Oh. It's right there. Thank you, Claudia Neubauer. It's right there. Yep, that's it. 5348. Although it was 1974. Okay. Miss Sharpe disappeared from her home December 14th, 3 days after Bernard Eugene Giles, that's the other guy, 22-year-old confessed slayer of one of the 6 victims discovered November 25th and January 31st, was arrested and jailed for attempted rape. Miss Sharpe's body was discovered by hunters on the North Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge on January 19th. She was the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John B. Sharpe. A spokesman for Port Orange Police said Miss Sharpe came to the station December 16th to report her daughter missing, and police issued a bulletin to all local law enforcement agencies concerning her disappearance. Sharpe, contacted Monday evening at his home, said he and his wife were contacted by sheriff's office, and we went down and identified her rings and what clothing was left. It was 7 months. And I know it's You know, I realize I always say months. You know, it's like almost like MUTNS, right, for months. Because who really pronounces the TH anymore? Yeah, it was 5 months. You know, it just sort of sounds weird. Yeah, everyone just says months. You know, it's a really a weak TH sound. Yeah, I'm just going over all of his victims. You know, later on we'll go over, you know, his whole deal, okay? So, you know, you don't need to go look him up while we're doing the show. Just, we'll do the show, and, you know, on your spare time, go ahead and look it up. Yeah, months. MUNTS, okay? That's how it should be spelled from now on. A spokesman for Port Orange Police said Miss Sharpe came to the station. Okay, Sharpe contacted in the evening. Yeah, so they identified by the rings. Now we're on to agents tracing victim's trail. Sheriff's agents Tuesday turned to a murder victim's hometown as they sought to trace the teenager from a December disappearance to a watery, brevered grave a month later. The parents' identification of jewelry and clothing combined with dental x-rays provided investigators late Monday with positive proof the fifth body found in a series of North Brevard slang belonged to Kathie Lee Sharpe, 17. Her fully clothed body was discovered in a shallow... Hold on a second. Her fully clothed body was discovered in a shallow canal by hunters in the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge, 12 miles northeast of Titusville. Let's see. However, let's see, up here, let me see what this is. Sheriff Lee Wilson added, it would be difficult to prove murder as a result. Let's see. Lieutenant Buzz Patterson, Homicide Unit Chief, said the high school student went out for a night December 14th and did not return. 2 days later, she was reported missing to local police by her parents. There is no obvious cause of death, you know, because of decomposition. Probably strangled then. Or even, you know, I guess you could even be stabbed, as long as if it doesn't show a mark on the ribs or anything like that, you wouldn't know. Sheriff Lee Wilson added, it would be difficult to prove murder as a result. Patterson was scheduled to meet late Tuesday with homicide agents. Let's see. However, Patterson was scheduled to meet late Tuesday with homicide agents dispatched to the community south of Daytona for questioning family members and friends. However, he could not be reached for comment. While he has confessed to killing the other 5 women. Oh, so you're talking about Giles at this point, yeah. According to his attorney, Slayer Bernard Giles has been ruled out as a suspect in Miss Sharpe's death. Yeah. And so, and this is more slangs admitted in plea. It says a total of 6 bodies were found, with Giles confessing to killing 5. The 6 victims, identified as Kathie Lee Sharpe, 17, of Port Orange, is not linked to the Giles case, police said. And then here we go. We're going back here again. Police sure Stano killed Port Orange girl. This is, and now we're moving forward from all the way to 1981, right? Because you know how they know is because he knew stuff about the crime scene that wasn't reported on. The murder of a 17-year-old Port Orange girl whose skeletal remains were discovered near here in 1974 has been attributed to Gerald Eugene Stano, an Armand Beach man now in state prison after admitting to killing 6 young women in Volusia County. Brevard County Sheriff's investigator Jim Bullock said Monday that his department is sure that Stano 30 is responsible for the death of Kathie Sharpe. But chances are slim that Stano, now serving 3 consecutive life terms, will go to trial for her murder. Yeah, because, I mean, he just admits to it. So it's weird how some of these counties still have cases open. But it's like, no, he pretty much, you know he did it, so close it, okay? He's not going to get tried now. Inmate linked to more murders. I think she's mentioned in here too. So basically in this article it also just kind of states the same thing. Sharpe disappeared December 14th and he was linked to her. He admitted it. And it's all kind of a similar story. They're all about the same age, from the same area, everything. Okay, now we're on to a 5th person. And this person's name is Nancy Hurd. She was 24, really old compared to his standards. Good night, everybody. Who's going to bed? Jamie, you going to sleep? Have a good one. Armand Beach woman found dead in woods. The body of a 24-year-old motel maid was found about 10 miles north of here in a wooded area near Interstate 95 Friday afternoon, and sheriff investigators said the woman may have been murdered. She was identified as Nancy Hurd, who moved to Ormond, and you know what? Guess who lives in Ormond? That's where Gerald Eugene Stano is from. Police would not release the name of the motel, and the date here, we're right around, let's see, was found on, excuse me, Friday, and this is Saturday, so it must have been January 3rd. The body was found by 2 young men hunting in the woods. I mean, how many of these did it say 2 people hunting in the woods found the body? I mean, literally 3 of these, 5, and then the other ones were like county workers. And you know, just back then, people are hitchhiking and things. You know, one of them, her car broke down. The other 2 girls were hitchhiking. There's always something like that. The body was found by 2 young men hunting in the woods 1 mile east of I-95 off Old Dixie Highway. The hunters flagged down a motorist and asked him to call sheriff's deputies. Yeah, so I think I have this location too. Ish, you know, it's never exact, but apparently it was like a half mile from this road and then west of this road. So like right in this heavily wooded area right there. I mean, look at that. It's unreal. I mean, you go down there is a street view, but man, you just barely get through the trees there, and it's just, I mean, that is an absolute heaven for a killer to dump a body in that area. Seriously. It's like you take them back there and it's so thick. Look at this thing. Okay. So then on January 5th, police investigating evolution of death. Police continued Saturday investigating the death of a young woman whose body was found in a wooded area Friday morning, 19 miles north of here. Nancy Hurd, 24, of 126.5. I couldn't find that one. I found it said like 1 something or other, but it's, you know, it doesn't, where they live, it wasn't related in this one, but North Grandview Drive, Daytona Beach, had been dead approximately 12 hours when she was discovered, police said. She moved to Daytona Beach from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but officers could not say how long she lived in the area. Police traced her to Ormond Beach Motel, where she worked as a maid, through a pack of matches found at the scene. They would not reveal the name of the motel. Let's see. Officials said the young woman was found fully clothed. Again, see, there's no sexual assault in all of these. It's almost like this guy, you know, he just hated women. I think it was something about like when they talk back, you know. Witnesses said the body showed no visible signs of violence, and preliminary autopsy tests have not indicated the cause of death. Police are awaiting complete autopsy results and results from physical evidence sent Friday to the Sanford Crime Lab. The body was found on a dirt road about 1 mile north of Bulow Creek Road about 8 a.m. Friday, but by two unidentified hunters. Okay, that was January 5th, and then August 17th. Let's see, down here it said, the investigators learned that, the new leads developed when the girl was identified quickly ran out, but authorities are continuing to look for persons who may have known Miss Hamilton after she arrived in Daytona. Probably the most baffling of the murders is that of Nancy Hurd, a 24-year-old hotel maid whose body was found on a dirt road January 3rd by two hunters following power lines through a wooded area north of Ormond. I wonder if that's more like in this area then. The power lines. I don't know if that's a power line area. It kind of looked like it, but somewhere down there. And I'm sure there's a cause of death. I don't know if it was mentioned in the article, but yeah. So this is an article that mentions her. It says, Crow did not believe. Let's see. This is about other. He's talking. Stano started talking about a bunch of murders that he committed. Let's say they talked some more. Another woman, Tony Van Handocks, 26, a prostitute, had vanished from the same neighborhood. Stano said he knew nothing. Pushing back in his chair, studying the ceiling, crossing his arms behind his head. 2 weeks later, Haddock's body was found within a block of the home of Stano's brother. The killer had stabbed her 50 times and covered the body with branches and leaves. You left your name there, Crow said. I left my name there? Written out? Stano said. You might as well have, said Crow. You left your calling card with the branches. Yeah, Stano grinned sheepishly. I killed her. Yeah, he was trying to, oh man, this guy's psycho, man. Soon, Stano confessed to the murder of Nancy Hurd, 25, a hitchhiking hotel maid, strangled 5 years before. Yeah, so she was a hotel maid, but she'd hitchhike to get home and so forth. That's just how people did it in the 70s, okay? But those are like the heyday. I mean, these serial killers just loved that stuff back then. Now they have to be a little bit more creative. Stano's lawyer, Donald Jacobson, struck a deal with prosecutor Lawrence J. Nixon. His client would plead guilty to the murders of the swim star, the prostitute, and the hotel maid, and tell about 3 more murders to escape the death penalty in those 6 cases. Judge S. James Foxman agreed, sentencing Stano to prison until the year 2056. Yeah, that's My conscience bothers me, the judge said. Crow and Stano kept right on talking, dropping hints, bragging evasively. Stano gradually... This is an article from... let's see. December 11th, 1982. Bragging evasively, Stano gradually began telling Crow how murder after murder after murder. Not how, just, let's see, let me read this part. Yeah, dropping hints, bragging evasively, Stano gradually began telling Crow about murder after murder after murder. Crow began taping confessions and calling homicide detectives from other jurisdictions. Stano said he killed Susan Basile, 12, who stepped off a school bus in Port Orange and vanished in 1975. Stano said he beat to death Bonnie Hughes, 38, after her car broke down in 1976 in Polk County. Police said that Stano described how he had that he had to shout to get the women's attention, and how she hurled bottles at him. The woman was nearly deaf. Bottles were found scattered about her disabled car. During his long conversations with Crow, which extended over months, Stano once said casually, "You know, I killed a hooker one time in Tampa." "Let's talk about the West Coast," Crow said. Crow said, What do you mean?" You never killed just one girl?" "I killed about 18 over there." Later, Hillsborough police said he led them on 3 occasions to the precise sites where bodies had been found. Stano has also led agents from a Florida Department of Law Enforcement task force to places where they did not find any bodies. "But I don't think he is making any murders up," said Agent Bobby Smith. "Not everyone agrees." New Jersey trooper Tom Kizzer does not believe Stano's confession to the Memorial Day 1969 murder of 2 college co-eds on the Golden State Parkway. Stano was 17 at the time, living in the area. So, yeah, I mean, Stano would have been, 22 years old when he's committing these murders. Stano wrote a 2.5-page statement telling how he stabbed the 2 women. But during a 10-hour interrogation, Stano told how he strangled them, said Kisner. He was wrong about the whole thing. But during a 10-hour interrogation, let's see, not everyone agrees. Tom Tisser does not believe Stano's confession. At Crow's request, he gave him a chance to think about it. Give Gerald a chance to think about it. You've got to give him things to refresh him his memory. Oh boy. Well, what are you feeding him the details so that he? Oh yeah. And but I don't know. That's a little dicey right there. Let's see. But during a 10-hour interrogation, Stano told how he strangled them, said Kisner. He was wrong about the whole thing. At Crow's request, we gave him a chance to think about it. Give Gerald a chance to think about it. You've got to give him things to refresh his memory. Huh. That sounds a little bit like, Brandon Dassey. Hey, what do you? That's how they got, the main guy. I always forget his name. Who gives a shit? I don't know how much they showed him in Florida, and I don't know his mentality, but it seems to me he wants to please, said Kinzer. Pennsylvania police are skeptical about 4 murders Stano said he committed there. Extensive searchers failed to find the bodies. Ghost cases, said state police. I mean, he did lead them to 3 of the bodies, so he's obviously got something going on. And they were just missing persons. As yet, there is no physical evidence linking Stano to any of the murders. No fingerprints, no fibers, no hairs, except he took you to them. No blood identification, no ballistics, even though 8 victims were shot. Police have yet to recover any personal possessions taken from any of the victims. As yet, no witnesses have been found. Nonetheless, Jacobson, Stano's former lawyer and one-time FBI agent, privately believes Stano killed as many as 50 women. I think he is holding out, Jacobson said. Supervisor Ron Tucker, I mean, that's even his lawyer, so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell what that paragraph meant up there. But even his own lawyer that was an FBI agent thought, wow. Privately believes Stano killed as many as half 100. I've never heard that. Why not just say 50 women? And I think he's holding out, Jacobson said. FDLE Supervisor Ron Tucker agrees. My personal belief is that we've only scratched the surface. I think he hasn't remembered them all. But he was so young. I don't know when he was... I'd have to look up when he was arrested, though. Stano remembered killing 2 hitchhikers in Gainesville in 1976. One wore gypsy-like clothes, he said. And others wore boots. The girls were sharing a Royal Crown Cola. He left their stabbed bodies in a woods near a church, he says. There was no double murder in Gainesville in 1976. But in 1973, Janine Legatino, 19, and Ann Arsenault, 17, were found stabbed to death in a woods near Gainesville Church. One wore a gypsy-like dress and other boots. A Royal Crown Cola bottle lay nearby. Okay, so he might have had the years wrong on that. An Alachua County grand jury has indicted Stano for the crimes. In these cases, he could face the electric chair. But you sort of wonder if if you get skeptical, you could say that they fed him the cola bottle information. And then Stano boasts of well-hidden cache of memorabilia, specifically the gun and knives he used. The thing is the reason I believe him is because he actually led the police to 3 bodies. I mean, literally drove them to the place where they retrieved his victims. So, you know, there's at least 3 of them. People have hobbies and keep things, said Crow. This is Gerald's hobby. He plays games. That's him right there. Guess who would play this part if he was still alive? Come on, who do you think would play that part? Hey, thanks, Jim. I'm gonna see if you think the same thing I do. As soon as I saw this picture, I go, oh my god, he looks just like... Come on, people, type it in. You know who this guy looks like. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Exactly. John Belushi. I mean, my God, he's like a clone of the guy. Yeah.
Brilliant show as always.
Let's see if I can find that. Well, I mean, hell, he didn't even just in a regular picture he looks like him. Let's see. Like that, you know? Like put glasses on that guy and it's like the same guy. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy. He didn't even have the glasses on. I'm trying to find one that looks exactly like him. Yeah, you just got to put a pair of glasses on him and boom. You know. Yeah, it's John Belushi. This guy. He's the guy that was on Saturday Night Live, right? Maybe I said Jim. I didn't mean to say. I don't think I said Jim. I don't know. I can't remember now. Wouldn't shock me if I said Jim. Yeah. So, well, you know, I do have another one here in this list, so maybe I can go over that one. I have 6 of them on here. I didn't put her picture on there because it was number 17. Hey, thanks, Kevin Brown. Building up for this next month now. Yeah. So I guess he was active for a long time. He started maybe when he was, let's just say 17, okay? But, you know, 22, he was 22 in 73, but he was killing more people even later. This is actually victim number 17 that I was looking into first and then went, oh, whoa, I'll go back. Although I guess I could keep this for when it's actually due. Lori Staggs. Thank you. Look at that. It's a pair that can fly really fast. Well, let's see. Well, maybe I'll try to do this one. Sound. Where's Blue? Blue! Where are you, Blue? Blue, Blue, Blue. Come here, Blue. Come here, Blue. Oh. I keep hearing this sound, but it's just I don't know what it is. It's not one of the dogs though. All right, missing Hillsborough woman. Last seen in Lakeland. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office this week launched a public appeal. This is from November 23rd, 1977. For information about Phoebe Winston, 23, who was last seen October 27th in Lakeland. Her mother described her as emotionally fragile and says she may have lost her memory, a possible result of an accident several years ago which caused brain damage. Sue Winston, the mother, said she is hoping the publicity may trigger someone's memory about any unusual occurrences near the rural East Hillsborough County home the day Phoebe's disappearance. Actually, you know, I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to do this one later because it's. I want to have the whole folders and everything built up. I wasn't even going to do it. It's just in the folder with the rest of them. Anyways, what's going on, everybody? I hope you at least found that interesting. That it's just so weird how there's just they're having a normal day. Everything seems normal, and boom, they just disappear off the face of the earth. And there was 2 of them in the same area at the same time. Fortunately, they caught the other one quicker. Here, let me look at. I'm going to look at newspapers.com quick and see when they arrested the guy. Let's see. I've never even heard of this guy before. Yeah. Mannerly, clean-cut prison inmate confesses to 25 unsolved murders. I was like, he was there, well, one of them they say maybe 1969 to, I think 77 or 8, something like that. That's the guy right there, though. Or I'm going to keep, yeah, well, I've already got this article here, but let me put this in there. That looks like an interesting one. A convicted murderer serving life in prison signed a detailed confession to 14 more slayings, bringing to 25. Yeah, the high school cheerleader, yeah. Here, I'm gonna get rid of this. Here's how I can do it. 1977 to 1978. Is his name even in the newspaper then? No. Okay. Now 1978 to 1979. Nope. 1979 to 1980. Okay. Now we're getting something here. So April 4th. Similar attack put police on trail of a man charged in... Oh, there you go. So here we go. Now this is sort of like how he got arrested right here. This will be interesting. I don't think any cases will be solved from the virus. Police were stumped 5 weeks after the decomposed body of Mary Carol Maher was... What do you say? People under pressure. After they're caught, I take their so-called... I don't. I think if they can tell you information and lead you to the killings, that means they did it. Like, if they can actually take you to bodies of missing people, then you sort of have to give them a little bit of credit for the other ones. Like, he led them to 3 of the bodies that hadn't been found yet. So at that point, you know... I mean, there's some killers out there. What's that one guy that they were using basically as a clearinghouse for all the murders? What, you know, you hear his name every freaking 2 seconds. I forgot, but... He's like, everybody goes, oh, that guy, yeah. And he didn't do any of them. Or maybe just a few. He actually did kill like 3 or 4 people. So the writer says, police were stumped 5 weeks after the decomposed body of Mary Carol Maher was found off Bellevue Avenue Extension. All they had was a composite picture of a man they thought might have some information to offer in her stabbing death. He wasn't even a suspect. He wasn't anything, really. Eventually, the picture played no part in arresting a murder suspect. Instead, it was March 25th stabbing attack against a prostitute that led police to an arrest Monday in the Maher case. Yeah, Henry Lee, yeah, that guy, Henry Lee Lucas. Yeah, it's like, hey, let's pin another one on him and clear this one off our books. Police arrested Gerald Eugene Stano, 28. So he's 28 in 1980. So he was really young when he You know, the 73 is probably 21-ish, 22. 46 Country Club Road. Let's see where he lived. Yeah, it was near everybody. Look at it, look at that. Like all these, you know, body there. There's the shopping center where I think it was Barbara Bauer maybe that went shopping. And I think her body was found. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, Barbara Bauer. And look, he lived right there. So right in the middle of the two spots. Body found, shopping center. And he lived in this house right there. The home of a serial killer. God, I should have played the auctioneer thing for all the people who typed in Henry Lee Lucas. It's like people are still typing it in 10 minutes after everybody else typed it in. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, Henry Lee Lucas was like a clearinghouse where you would basically make an appointment with the guy and say, hey, can you help us get this one off our books? Oh, sure, yeah, I did that one too. Okay, great. Thank you. It was ridiculous, all right? Although Miss Maher also lived in Ormond Beach at 310 Sylvan Drive. This is where the person was that... Actually, hold on. Let me get that one. Gerald's house. All right, 310 Sylvan Drive. So I guess she lived right here. She lived, I think. Man. The Hellion. Chloe the Hellion. I was just wrestling with, oh man, she's crazy. Get her, Blue. Yeah, but look where she lived, and look at this whole. I mean, it's just amazing. This guy was. All these are part of his. You know, they should have called him some other island. I don't know what island this is called, but he should have been called whatever island that is. Serial killer. Pirate Island. There you go. The Pirate Island serial killer. Okay, although Miss Maher also lived in Ormond Beach at 310 Sylvan Drive, police said there is no indication the two knew each other. It's unbelievable how it pieced together, Daytona Beach detective Jim Gadbury said Thursday. There were no good leads to start with. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. To start with, one day there's nothing, the next it's a different story. He said the investigation into Mrs. Maher's death had reached a standstill until the... I guess Maher was killed then. She didn't live. Was at a stand... Let's see. He said the investigation into Mrs. Maher's death had reached a standstill until the aggravated battery case against the prostitute was routinely assigned to him late last week. Gadbury read the report. Oh, so it must have sounded exactly like what happened to Maher. Gadbury read the report. A description of the victim's cuts rang a bell in the back of his mind. The prostitute's wounds were not serious, but they were similar to those suffered by Mrs. Maher, a former mainland high school swimmer. Both young women had been slashed on the chest and thighs. The difference was that Miss Maher had also been stabbed in the chest and back. It seemed to fit, Gadbury said, so he got together with Detective Paul Crow, who had led the investigation into Mrs. Maher's death. The most important thing is what the body looks like. You have to see if there are any similarities in the wound. Details of the body are extremely important, he said. Police believe Miss Maher was hitchhiking after leaving a North Atlantic Avenue motel lounge. And she'll be one of the people I talk about at some later date. Police believe Miss Maher was hitchhiking after leaving a North Atlantic Avenue motel lounge January 27th. They theorize that a driver stopped and picked her up. When she refused his sexual advances, he stabbed her. Now, I don't think he didn't assault anybody. Police believe it was the same man who became angry at the prostitute March 25th and slashed her on the thighs and chest. I guess you could get once they've figured out, okay, yeah, he's the same one that attacked the living prostitute, you could ask what his technique was. And then you might know that, yeah, he tried to, and I said no, and then he got angry. Gadbury confirmed that Stano's arrest has spurred police to look into other cases involving missing prostitutes who are believed to be dead. Meanwhile, he said charges of aggravated battery have been placed against Stano in connection with the cutting of the young prostitute March 25th. She was pretty lucky. She could have been killed, but she doesn't care. She's still hooking, Gadbury said. Wow, Jesus. She went right back to prostitution. April. Those are the same articles. This one's April 11th. Let's see what this one said. At least 2 big decisions await the men and women being sworn in Monday as members of the spring term of the Volusia County Grand Jury. Less than 3 hours after official swearing-in ceremonies in the Volusia County Courthouse, said Assistant State Attorney Larry Nixon, jurors will be asked if 15-year-old Bonnie Moyer should be indicted either. Okay, and then it goes on there. And he said jurors will hear testimony to help them decide if 28-year-old Gerald Eugene Stano should stand trial for first-degree murder in the death of 20-year-old Mary Carol Maher. So what's this other one that's so much later? Yeah, April, and then September. What's that one? Gerald Eugene Stano, 28, entered a plea based on insanity. Of course, the charges before Foxman linked Stano to the murder of Tony Van Haddocks, a 26-year-old woman whose body was found buried in a wooded area south of Wild Rose Lane in Holy Hill. She had been stabbed several times. I mean, look at this shit. I think he did kill a lot of people. You know? I mean, there probably was a point where he was just like, shit, I'll tell you about all of them. You know? I tend to believe them when they've killed a lot of people. And then, I don't know. I didn't like that one part where it sounded like they were feeding him information. I don't know if that's actually what they meant, though, in that. 5 indicted on first-degree murder. Already facing murder charges in the brutal stabbing death of 20-year-old Ormond Beach woman, was indicted in a fatal stabbing of 26-year-old... Yeah, so another one. Miss Haddock's body was found buried in a wooded area south of 1400 block of Wild Rose Lane in Holy Hill. Stano has been held... I mean, this guy... And all the bodies are kind of around in the same area, too. Anyways, I'll get to the other people on a different time. I mean, a lot of these guys want to tell you. I mean, look at that one guy that killed like 100 people. That they're, you know, the black guy, the serial killer. I can't remember his name, but he has drawings of them all, remembers all their names, and I guarantee it, he did every single one of them. He's not making anything up. So what do you guys think? What's going to go on? When do you think we're going to be out of the woods on this virus, man? Yep, the guy's a nightmare. Yeah. Nah, I mean, I don't really want... That's not the son of the guy that does the show. I don't really want to look into that. Doesn't sound that interesting. I like ones that nobody else talk about. Like, I have never even heard of this killer, nor any of the victims. Yeah, well, I think I don't know if you need a vaccine first. If you just had really good antivirals and really good treatments that really lowered the death rate down dramatically, I think we could get back out there. People wouldn't be paranoid to walk around. If you felt like, oh, really? Wow, 1 in 50,000, you know, like it. Yeah. And also, you could probably send back to work people who already had it. Two months what? Have you ever looked into Adam Walsh? No? And then you said 2 months. What does that mean? Oh, you think we're going to be out of this in 2 months? Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I think in 2 months, MUNTS, we are going to feel a sense of, like, a sigh of relief, like, oh, God, it's finally it's going down. It's better now. It won't be gone. There's no way in hell it's going to be gone. There's no way in hell the virus will be gone in 2 months. No chance. It'll be out there. It just won't. It'll be really, oh yeah, 3 new cases today, 1 more. Okay, great. Because people will start doing social distancing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've got 2 more weeks until the peak. It might even be 3. Yeah, you can hope. So just kind of, keep doing what you're doing. Literally, you know what, everybody? If you Do not touch your face with your hands. You're probably going to not get it. Okay? Constantly wash your hands. Do not touch your face. Now, if you're at home, you know, and you haven't left your house for 5 days and you touch your face, I'm sure that's, you know, you're not really at much risk at that point. I mean, this is a crazy one. This one, this isn't right, like, it's not like the flu at all. You know, there's so many people that were even saying, oh, it's like the flu, it's like the flu. Well, it's kind of, you know, well, here's the thing. It's way more contagious than the flu, 3 or 4 times. It is also more deadly than the flu for the people who actually get sick from it. So when you have that combination, that's where you're looking at what Bill Gates was talking about. He's going to be on Fox News Sunday tomorrow, so you might want to check that out. Bill Gates. Yeah, I think it'd be great if you could just send tests out to people. Every single person, if you tested them and they didn't have it, couldn't you send back only, you know, the people who don't have anything to work? And then if you do have it, then you stay at home until you're better, and then you can go back to work. It'd be great. Really, Renee? Jeez, sorry about that. Yeah, I've been out just a couple times. I mean, I don't leave much anyways because I work from home. I just go out when I'm doing my, you know, when I fly the drone around and everything. I don't even know what you just said there, Tanya, but cool, all right. I guess that was girl code. You're going to have to fill that in for me, guys. Yeah, he's going to be on tomorrow on Fox News Sunday. I think it's on at like in the morning, 11 o'clock, 4 o'clock again. Yeah, well, you got to get that, the sunshine. Chloe the Hellion, everybody. Chloe the Hellion. Come here. You are just... God, she's just such a... You are insane. Okay? Jeez. Whew. Thanks, Claudia Neubauer. Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to see more tests about, oh, it lasts 7 days on a surface. You know, I could see them testing that in a lab somewhere, and it's not really indicative what the real world is. You know, how about this? Put it on somewhere out in the real world, let's see what happens. They're still doing a lot of studies on it, though. That's the thing. No Watterson updates, William. Yeah. Where did they get the test? Way cool. Plasma will be great therapy. Yeah. I don't know. They're getting to the point where they can do a lot of tests every day. I just think they need to do one where they can send it to your house. You do your swab and you put it into like a solution, and then it tells you, oh yeah, yep, you have the antibody. That means you had it and you're already over it. Or, yep, we detect the virus in you. Yep. You know, either one, whatever the hell it does. And then as soon as you get that, you make there's a number to call, and they tell you what to do. It could even just be not even a human, just a thing. Yes, you're calling this number because you have it. What you need to do is stay in your home. We now have you registered. Your phone number is your address this. Okay, great. You need to stay in your house. We'll have somebody call you within the next 24 hours. You know, whatever the hell it is, okay? It's easy. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to do more. They'll have to do more studies. I don't know. I'm not really. I keep hearing different numbers. Oh yeah, the last 3 days. Oh, it goes 27 feet. Oh, it does this. It does that. It does this. Does that. Does this. Let's just wait till a couple more weeks. They'll let us know. I think they just send it to you. You take the test, and then you just call a number, and on that number you let it know that you were positive or not. It's the easiest thing in the world, man. We've got freaking phone numbers. Jeez. I'm just trying to read some comments. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if at some point, yay for president. I'm wondering if at some point something positive will be said about this chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, right? It just seems like something's going to happen with that thing at some point, because it's being pumped too much to not be anything.
Grey Hughes for president. Winking face.
Thank you. 70 years ago today, our forefathers brought forth a new nation. There was this one, let's listen to this guy. I think he's a quack. He was on Facebook. This, I don't know, man. It's not, I think the guy, he'll probably lose his job by tomorrow. He just sounds like an idiot. You'll probably go, oh, wow, that's interesting, because it's the doctor saying it. So, just take it with a grain of salt, all right? Here, I'm going to play this, all right? So here we go. I mean, not a grain of salt, a bucket. I think this guy is ludicrous, all right? That's my opinion. This guy right here.
This is Dr. Cameron Kyle Seidel, ER and critical care doctor from New York City. 9 days ago, I opened an intensive care unit to care for the sickest COVID-positive patients in this city. In these 9 days, I have seen things I have never seen before. In treating these patients, I have witnessed
I don't even know if he's real. I mean, look, he's got a Yeti microphone in front of him. Where'd you end up with that thing? How do you know you're not just some schmuck that put on a scrub and you're chatting away to make it look like you've been out there?
Medical phenomenon that just don't make sense in the context of treating a disease that is supposed to be a viral pneumonia. 9 days ago, I presumed I was opening an intensive care unit to treat patients with a virus causing a pneumonia that was ravaging lungs across the world, starting out as something mild, a cough, a sore throat, and progressively increasing in severity until ultimately ending in something called acute respiratory distress syndrome, or ARDS. No. This is the paradigm that every hospital in the country is working under. This is the disease, ARDS, that every hospital is preparing to treat. And this is the disease, ARDS, for which in the next 2 to 6 weeks, 100,000 Americans might be put on a ventilator. And yet, everything I've seen in the last 9 days, all the things that just don't make sense, the patients I'm seeing in front of me, the lungs I'm trying to improve, have led me to believe that COVID-19 is not this disease, and that we are operating under a medical paradigm that is untrue. In short, I believe we are treating the wrong disease, and I fear that this misguided treatment will lead to a tremendous amount of harm.
Yeah, so he's the only guy in the country that believes that. Hey, how about this? I wonder if his hospital heard him say that. I mean, man, I guess there's a 1 in a million chance he's right about something, but he probably isn't, right? I mean, nobody else is saying anything that this guy's saying.
To a great number of people in a very short time. As New York City appears to be about 10 days ahead of the country, I feel compelled to get this information out. COVID-19 lung disease, as far as I can see, is not a pneumonia and should not be treated as one. Rather, it appears as some kind of viral-induced disease, most resembling high-altitude sickness. It is as if tens of thousands of my fellow New Yorkers are on a plane at 30,000 feet and the cabin pressure is slowly being let out. These patients are slowly being starved of oxygen. I have seen patients dependent on oxygen take off their oxygen and quickly progress through a state of anxiety and emotional distress and eventually get blue in the face. And while they look like patients absolutely on the brink of death, they do not look like patients dying of pneumonia. I have never been a mountain climber, and I do not know the conditions at base camp below the highest peaks in the world. But I suspect that the patients I'm seeing in front of me look most like as if a person was dropped off on the top of Mount Everest without time to acclimate. I don't know the final answer of this disease, but I'm quite sure that a ventilator is not it. That is not to say that we don't need ventilators. We absolutely need them.
Oh yeah, Tammy, let me see. What, you got a link for that?
They are the only way at this time that we're able to give a little more oxygen to patients who need it. But when we treat people with ARDS, we typically use ventilators to treat what's called respiratory failure. That is, we use the ventilator to do the work that the patient's muscles can no longer do because they're too tired to do it. These patients' muscles work fine. I fear that if we are using a false paradigm to treat a new disease, that the method that we program the ventilator, one based on a notion of respiratory failure as opposed to oxygen failure, that this method, and there are a great many number of methods we can use with the ventilator, but this method being widely adopted at this very moment in every hospital in the country, which aims to increase pressure on the lungs in order to open them up, is actually doing more harm than good. And that the pressure we are
So he's saying the ventilators are doing more harm than good, and that the pressure
providing that we are providing to lungs, we may be providing to lungs that cannot stand it, that cannot take it,
so
and that the ARDS
put them under low pressure, and
that we are seeing, that the whole world is seeing, maybe nothing more than lung injury caused by the ventilator. Now, I don't know the final answer.
So he's saying all the deaths we're seeing are nothing more than deaths caused by the ventilators. If this guy is, I think he's totally wrong. He is absolutely, he should just be removed from what he's doing if this is totally bogus shit that he's saying. Really? The ventilators are killing everybody. The hell are you talking about? Jesus.
Answer to this disease. I do sense that we will have to use ventilators, We will have to use a great many number of ventilators, and we need a great many number of ventilators, but I sense that we can use them in a much safer way, in a much safer method.
I don't know.
That
I don't even know who this guy is, man. Yeah. I have no idea. Well, that doesn't even look like the same guy.
This is Dr. Cameron Kyle Seidel, ER and critical care doctor from New
Dr.
York
Kyle.
City.
Oh, this guy just
9
posted.
days ago, I opened an intensive care unit to care for the sickest COVID-positive patients in this city. In these
now let's see who this guy is. Yeah, he looks like a hardcore doctor there. Let's see. Is it possible that we are dealing with something we have never seen before? Well, yeah, it's a new virus, yep. Ah, hell, I'm not. Jesus. Forget it. Sorry I wasted your time with that. I really just... when I heard it, I go, wow, that just sounds so irresponsible to sit there and tell everybody that the ventilators are what are killing people. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know who the guy... I don't even really want to know who he is, to be honest with you. You know? I guess if he's right, he's one of every single one of a million doctors that's right. The rest of them are all wrong. But who knows? You know, I don't know. I don't know if he's got a nefarious intent or anything. It's just why don't you keep that to yourself and talk to other doctors about it? You know, if you're really a doctor, why are you telling everybody else this thing that's just total wild speculation? I think that it's in itself is irresponsible, right? Don't you think? Yeah, Susanna, everybody knows that stuff. That's not the point of what we're talking about, Susanna. Yes. Okay, we all get it. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, what he's saying is that he's saying that the ventilators are what are killing the people, okay? I think he's full of shit. Yeah, how about this? If he really believes that, why doesn't he go get a commission of doctors, present what he's seeing, and discuss it with them, then come forward with it? You don't need to be talking about it on social media, blasting it out there as if and it's just a theory. That's just a wild guess at something. Wow, yeah, I fear that. Yeah, great, you fear that, so why don't you have the conversation with the rest of the community and figure something out. If you're right, then publish a paper and bring it forward and say, we are now stopping ventilators. GM, Ford, you can quit making them because they're not helping a damn soul. They are just killing every single person. Okay. Yeah, because that's not what anybody else seems to think. Yeah, so there's something weird to me about him going on to social media with it. That bothers me. Well, like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Great, that's neat. You have a theory. Okay, go talk to it with the doctors. You don't just blab it out there and what? Because you fear something? Man, if I was the hospital, I'd go, don't come into work tomorrow. See you later. You know, and the thing is, he might really believe what he's saying, and he could very well be a doctor, all that stuff. He probably is one. But I think that's just totally irresponsible. Yeah, I've got two family both my family members are doctors, Susanna. You don't need to do any of that stuff. Thanks. All right. Hey, you know what we need is Jay Case to call in. Where the hell is Jay Case, anyways? Oh, you think this guy's a kid doctor? I fear that. Great. Okay, you fear it, but do you have any proof of anything that you're saying? Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like other people who die of pneumonia, probably because it's different. It affects things a little differently in there. I've actually had it explained to me. There's like these bubbles that form inside there, and there's very little surface area for oxygen to get in there, and you feel like you're drowning. So you got to put the air, oxygen into the lungs themselves, and yeah, I'm sure he's very busy. But I want him to check in. Well, I'm sure he might have just taken a thing off his head there. Man, you know what? You can't say your name sort of short. Litexan, or what is it? Little Tex Tornado? Is that kind of what that means? Little Texas Tornado? Yep, Doogie Howser. Oh. Hell, I don't even know where it is at this point. Here, let me find it again. No, I don't even want to bring it up. I shouldn't even have played it. I thought it was stupid. Yeah, what are they saying about it? VP? At Camarox? Right, he's starting a buzz. I mean, hell, you know what? I guess it's what if he's right? He's the one guy that figured something out of the whole thing, right? And maybe they need to do like low pressure and something else, I just think the way he's doing it is bullshit. Okay, you don't come forward on YouTube or Facebook, whatever the hell it is, and start theorizing irresponsibly as a doctor. It's a little bit like coming out and saying, oh man, yeah, that chloroquine shit's going to work right now. It definitely works. 100% it works. It works. And there's no studies done on it at all. Nobody knows if it's even effective. There's anecdotal evidence out there. We all hope it works. And if it does work, it'll be a game changer. Because then it's like, apparently there's, Trump mentioned it, and I've seen it in other places where, let's see, what is it called again? Something like dioxy or something, chloroquine? Hydrochloroquine, excuse me. Don't type it in, I already know. Hydrochloroquine, all right? People with lupus take it, right? And apparently, there's like very few people with lupus have even got the virus. So they're wondering if it's like a prophylactic effect that it might have. I mean, they're no, yeah, I already said it, Bridget. Jesus. Well, Cuomo doesn't need 40K. He just keeps wanting more and more and more like everybody else. Well, I said it like 20 seconds ago on my end. Not even, more than that even. I don't know why there's such a long delay. I have everything set up the way I used to have it set up. But it's like a 30-second delay. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, do you take that medicine, Tammy? I should have given out a prize, Bridget. Oh, and Bridget wins. Yeah, it used to only be like a 4-second delay. Now there's like 30 seconds or 15 or something. I mean, it sucks. Yeah, I should say, okay, when I count to 3, type in a 1. 1, 2, 3. Wow. That's 23 seconds. That's insane. Man, I could have ran around the gym. And it's not on rewind mode, so I don't know what the hell's going on. Huh. I'm gonna have to check that out. That was like 23 seconds. That's crazy. Normally it's like 5, you know? Maybe it's all the people streaming now, slowing everything down. Yeah, like William just said. No, I know you're not trying to. It was just, oh man. Claudia Neubauer. Good night, Claudia. Have a good one. Thank you very much. Yeah, but I was watching Trisha, you know, the web sleuth today, and her delay was like 0.5 seconds. It was crazy. Like as soon as you type something in, she'd answer it on the screen. So I don't know what the deal is there. Maybe I'm trying to send too much data or something. I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, that's right. Maybe it's the microwave. Right up there with the aliens, huh? Yeah. Anyways, I think that's about it for me, you guys. I've been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Hope you found that at least, interesting with the starting to go over those. It's weird how when you go over those cases like that, how sort of ordinary, just a normal day it was for each of the victims. It's not like they were, maybe some of the later ones will be different. And, maybe he evolved to using prostitutes because they're not looked at as hard as just a regular, 17-year-old high school student. I've made that comparison a lot in the Lumberton, how they're not really putting a lot of effort on that, but like I've said in that one, if it was like a 17-year-old little high school student that was murdered, they would have brought all the resources in and looked into it. Yeah, I've seen a whole bunch of different numbers for that guy. Well, thanks. Hey, thanks, Tanya. Yeah, I've known her for a long time. Her interview with Becky was really good. I mean, Becky... I mean, actually, she just let Becky talk, really, but it was the most I've ever heard Becky say. It was weird. I mean, she just kept talking, and it was all clear and really good stuff. Hey, thanks, William Zambrano. Where do you live, William? Dun, 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 dun.
Good night, Gray. Stay safe, bud.
Yeah, you too. Oh, you found me on WebSleuth, though, right? The actual website. Awesome. Because I'm so mean. That's funny when Trisha on her show will go, yeah, there's Gray. He's so mean. Yeah. It's hilarious. Yeah, we did it was like an hour and a half that you missed there. Pay it forwards. Now you live in Phoenix? Okay. So you probably live near some of the stuff going on in the Lori Daybell case, right? You should do a drive-by over there. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it does take a while. You know, one of the hardest things to do, especially in a town when there's multiple serial killers, is to find the original article of the body found. You know, like a body found on 28th and blah 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 blah. You know, and then if you're starting with their name, and then you find, oh, okay, they were found last Wednesday. And then you do a search that's the day after the day that they were found because it makes it into the paper. And then you have to find, and it's amazing, it's shocking really, is how many people, when you type in body found in a really small range, there's literally like 10 articles that they're not even the same person in all of them. There's just so many people that are killed and bodies found all the time. You just don't really know about it. Yep. John Lorden. Yeah, you should go right where drive by get out. You should even get out of your car. Go right to where Charles was killed. Just for the hell of it. And then go ask the neighbors, did you guys like Lori at all? Because she was so smiling and chuckly, like she thought you guys thought she was great. Oh yeah, the timeline video? Huh. Oh yeah. I'm just I'm just sitting here. You guys are staring at the the newspaper articles. You guys would rather see Lori Tripp and shit behind me. Yeah. Thanks, Sarita Hilly. Yeah, you should do it. I'm doing what Sarita Hilly's thing's doing. Yeah. Do you do a date range of what do you mean, VP? What are you talking about? Yeah, definitely I put in a date range, yeah. That's what I'm saying. just even a short date range, like April 1977, Florida, you know, and then there's like 20 of them. It's crazy. Yeah, I know what I'm doing, yeah. And I even said that a minute ago, that I put a range in, yeah. Yeah, I said that, yeah. Good reminder, I forget sometimes. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, like, here, let me try to do an example right here. Watch. Here, let me go back to my screen. I'll say, let me go back to, like, the first one. No, I don't need the first one. Let's see. So I'll just type in. "1973, Florida." Because you want it, the newspaper in Florida, right? And then female, you know, whatever. It's just body found. And there's just tons of them. You know, fourth girl's body found. That's probably one of the other four. This is 1973, so this is probably the decomposed body of the young girl. A St. Christopher medal still around her neck was discovered by a sheriff deputy Thursday in a Mims Orange Grove. So that's the other killer right there. That's the Bernard Giles. He's the one that killed that girl right there. So you got that one. Then you head on out here, and that was December, and let's see. Yeah, it's just, there's just so many people all the time, over and over and over again. Huh, what the hell is that one? That's weird. What the hell are they talking about? What are they talking about here? Crystal River County Fire District. Space eyes scan where bodies found.
One last time for now. Grinning face, smiling face with heart eyes, grinning face.
Thank you, Claudia Neubauer. Yeah, what is this thing here? Let's see. Titusville. Amid speculation the body count could rise to 10. Space agency scientists used sophisticated aerial sensing techniques yesterday, this is 1973, to hunt for more slaying victims in the area where the bodies of 4 females have been found since Thanksgiving. Okay, this is for the Bernard Giles. On November 25th, the remains of cocktail waitress Paula Hamrick, 22, was found in a ditch. Yeah, so anyways, that's what I'm talking about. It's just, there's so many cases all the time. It's all over the place. Yeah, that's what my friend Ada always says. Like, the 70s was serial killer. I think it's different. I think there's serial killers now, the same number. They're just, they act differently because the forensics is so much better now. Everything's different. So they're probably, before they were just really cavalier. You strangle, you throw them in the woods, and maybe, you know, take off. Nobody was worried about anything. And now, man, there's so much forensic stuff. They're really, I think they're a little bit more tech. I don't know how to explain it, or, you know, aware of it. So they're harder to catch, it seems like. Oh, yeah? Yeah, you guys have been around a long time. I think Patricia's been around as long as anybody, really. Man. Yeah, I'm about ready to go to bed myself. No, I have not finished Ozark. I'm watching it right now. Do not tell me anything. Do not mention anything about it or anything. All right, so I'm going to go do the flyby now. Oh, you can see Chloe for a second. Hey, Chloe. What's going on? Oh, wait. There you are. Chloe. Chloe. What's going on? What's going on? She's crazy. Okay. Yeah. Guess where I'm going to go? Back to my one and only favorite little flyby spot, because it just doesn't, there's nothing better than it. But first, let me say thanks to Miss Skiss, Kit Kat, Claudia Neubauer, Jim Bino, Kevin Brown, Lori Staggs, not Loria, Claudia Neubauer, again, and then Amy Higg, William Zambrano, Sarita Hilly, and Claudia Neubauer. Thank you very much. There we go. There we go. You can't see, oh, I guess you can't see it because you're not, I'm not there. Right there. Oh, perfect. Got the frame around it and everything. Oh yeah, so there is a name of this park. Everybody wants to know the name. Well, it's just called DP1 Campground. So that's not really a park name. What's this one say? Devil's Kitchen Campground in Utah. And see, you know what's amazing is, like, this is high definition mapping right here, and just off to the left is this shit map. It's just not even, it's terrible. Look at it. You can, I mean, it still looks kind of cool, but though all these little nodule looking things, they really look like this. That's what that really looks like. And there's a line, see that perfect line on the ground? Because Google Earth hasn't gone over, but this whole section here is completely, you know, just high definition map. Pretty sweet. No way, Bridget. Good night, Claudia Neubauer. A hang glider. Almost, huh?
Love you too, sass man.
All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you all for showing up tonight. And make sure that you're, washing your hands. Don't touch your face. Wear a scarf or something when you go outside to protect other people in case you're one of the vast number of asymptomatic carriers out there. Okay? You might be one of the people that are walking around, don't feel a damn thing. And if you cough just a little bit, it might get in the air and infect people. So just wear a mask, a scarf, something like that. All right. So there you go, everybody. And, maintain your social distancing too, all right? Wearing a mask doesn't mean you can start going to movie theaters again. You know what I'm saying? And who the hell would want to go to a movie too, unless it was a horror movie, sitting around wondering how many particles are floating around your head that contain the coronavirus. Wouldn't that be weird? I don't think I could go to a movie for a little bit at a time anyways. I mean, I think that is the one thing that, what Susanna was saying was about the, having a vaccine. That's when we'll feel normal again. Except we'll always be wary. I think you'll see people shake hands a little less. I think you'll see social distancing becoming somewhat a little bit more normal, that kind of thing. But crazy times, everybody, but just hang in there, make sure you're safe. All right, everybody, so that's it. And I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, so until next time, everybody, be safe out there. 2, 3. Yes, I'm still here. Good night, John boy.